Welcome to Science for Sleep, a place where curiosity settles and big questions become gentle stories beneath the stars. Tonight, you and I will explore a question that lingers in the shadows of sleepless nights. Can you die from lack of sleep? It sounds dramatic, doesn't it? But the science is quietly astonishing. As you rest, we'll take a slow walk through the hidden world of sleep. You'll feel the rhythms of your body, the cycles of your brain, and what begins to happen when rest slips away. You'll hear stories, real stories, of people who stayed awake far too long. And gently, you'll come to understand just how deeply sleep is tied to your survival. But don't worry, this won't be frightening. This is a soft unraveling, a calm journey into one of life's most essential mysteries. So now, let your eyes grow heavy, let your breath slow down, and let your thoughts drift into tonight's first chapter. Your body knows the moonlight. You settle into the night as your body prepares for rest, not by habit, but by ancient design. You learn how your cells, hormones, and brain rhythms sway gently with the Earth's rotation. The circadian clock begins to tick like a lullaby written in your genes. The dark is not the enemy here. It is the signal, the rhythm, the deep, remembering guide. And tonight, you listen. The sky has dimmed. The day has let go of its edges. You are here now, in the quiet between light and dark. Your room rests in gentle shadow. The world outside has slowed. The moon, soft and silver, has begun its quiet climb. You don't need to look at the clock. Your body already knows. Something shifts deep inside you. Not a thought, not a decision, but a remembering. Your body, in its quiet wisdom, knows it is time to begin the journey inward. Because you are not separate from the rhythm of the earth. You are made of it. You carry a clock inside you, not the kind that ticks on walls, not the kind that runs on batteries. This clock is made of cells. It listens to light. It sings to darkness. It turns with the planet. And tonight, as the light fades, your clock begins to hum. This rhythm has a name. Circadian rhythm. A word born from Latin. Circa, meaning about. DM, meaning a day. About a day. That's what your body understands. A full cycle of rising and falling, of waking and resting. It is not just in your mind. It lives in every part of you. In your skin, in your stomach, in the way your heart gently slows. This is not habit. This is inheritance. The world spins, and your body moves in time with it. How does it know when to slow? It begins with light, or rather, with the absence of it. Your eyes sense the shift. Less blue, less bright, more shadow, more stillness. And behind your eyes, in the quiet center of your brain, a small group of cells listens closely. This is the suprachiasmatic nucleus. 20,000 neurons. A name far too sharp for something so gentle. Think of it as a conductor, tuning the symphony of your body. When light dims, this conductor lifts its baton and signals the beginning of night. It sends a message to another part of your brain, the pineal gland, to begin releasing melatonin. Melatonin is not a command. It is a whisper. It says, slow down. It says, it's safe now. It says, you may rest. And your body listens. Your temperature lowers. Just a little, but enough. Your heartbeat softens. Your blood pressure eases. Muscles loosen their grip. Thoughts stretch out. Longer, slower, less tangled. You are not asleep yet, but you are heading there. one soft breath at a time. All of this sacred process, is not just for sleep. Your circadian rhythm touches everything. Your hunger, your energy, your immune strength, your ability to remember. It guides the rise of cortisol in the morning, the bright hormone that wakes you, and it brings melatonin at night, the gentle hormone that helps you drift. Even your white blood cells, the silent protectors of your health, follow this rhythm. That is why, when this rhythm is disrupted by jet lag, by sleepless nights, by bright screens at midnight, you feel off, not just tired, but disoriented, as if your body is awake, but your spirit is not sure where it belongs. Still, on most nights, when the lights fade and your day gently closes, your inner rhythm aligns again. There is peace in that. You are not broken. You are just remembering the rhythm. Even now, even here, even in your bed, you are a piece of the moonlit earth. You are quiet machinery, elegant in motion. And this rhythm you feel is not yours alone. Birds feel it. They sing less at dusk. Their songs curl inward. Flowers close their petals. Corals in the sea release their eggs. In perfect harmony with the full moon, the whole world sleeps. The whole world listens. And you, for all your thoughts, for all your complexity, are still one of them. This rhythm is not a rule. It is a gift. It tells your body, this is when you rise. This is when you pause. This is when you heal. Your ancestors listened to it. They slept when the stars returned. They did not fight the dark. They honored it. Even now, your body remembers that time. It doesn't need clocks. It doesn't need alarms. It needs quiet. It needs kindness. So tonight, you give it that. You let the lights stay low. You slow your breath. And your body, grateful, begins its soft descent. Melatonin moves like a mist. Through your blood, the edges of your thoughts grow round, like stones in a river. Smoothed, softened, stilled. You are floating now, still in this world, but already halfway to another. Sleep is not something to chase. It is something to return to. Let yourself return. Let yourself fall. Fall into the rhythm. Fall into the stillness. Fall into the space where your body and the moonlight are one. But before you cross that final threshold, before you drift into dream, you wonder softly, what happens when this rhythm is lost? What happens when sleep does not come at all? Chapter 2, The Architecture of Sleep. You enter the quiet cathedral of sleep, built from stages that rise and fall like tides. Light sleep, deep sleep, REM, each one shapes your mind and body in different, vital ways. This isn't a flat silence, but a layered symphony. You move through chambers of memory, emotion, and repair. And tonight, you begin to notice sleep is not one thing. It is many. Sleep is not a single place. It is not a switch that flips, not a room you enter and leave. It is a journey, and like all journeys, it has landscapes, it has seasons, it has depths. You are about to enter. Your breath slows. Your body has already accepted the invitation, but your mind lingers. Just a little. On the threshold, let's walk it together. Imagine sleep as a vast cathedral. Quiet, echoing, deep, each part of it. A chamber you pass through. Some you barely notice. Others, you sink into. Like warm water, this whole cathedral is built from cycles, patterns, repeating rounds. Each night, you move through 4 to 6 of these cycles. each one lasting around 90 minutes. Not perfectly timed, but gently spiraled, like rings on a tree. Let's begin with the first doorway. Stage 1. Light sleep, the borderland. You drift here just after you close your eyes. Your brain slows, but only a little. You may still hear sounds. Feel twitchy. It's like the soft space between thought and dream. You are not gone, but you are going. This stage lasts only a few minutes, like dipping your toe into still water. Your muscles relax, your heartbeat softens, and then you go deeper. Stage 2, the true beginning. Still light, but steadier, quieter. Your body temperature drops a little more. Your breathing becomes rhythmical. Inside your brain, little bursts of activity flash and fade, called sleep spindles and K-complexes. What strange names. But think of them as soft sparks, as gentle gates that help block out the outside world. You spend most of your night in this stage, not dreaming, just resting, healing, storing strength. And then, without knowing it, you sink into the depths. Stage 3. Deep sleep, also known as slow-wave sleep. This is the stillest place, the chamber with the thickest walls. No dreams, no stories, just restoration. Your brain pulses slowly, big, slow waves, like deep ocean swells. This is when your body repairs itself. Tissue growth, muscle healing, immune boosts. Children grow in this stage. Memories begin to settle here, not vividly, but structurally, like pouring foundation into your brain's frame. It's hard to wake someone in this stage. If you do, they will feel confused, heavy, because deep sleep is not for thinking. It's for rebuilding. And then, almost as if surfacing from water, you rise into something stranger. REM sleep, rapid eye movement. This is the place of dreams. Your eyes move behind your lids. Quick little flickers. But your muscles are almost paralyzed. Your body is quiet. And your brain? Lively, electric, as active as when you're awake. Sometimes more. This is where stories bloom. Bizarre ones, emotional ones, symbolic ones. The dreams that dance and melt. The dreams that feel like memories. REM is when your brain processes emotion, takes the day, and asks, what did this mean? This is also where creative connections happen. Problems solved in your sleep. Patterns found. Ideas born. REM sleep is like a theater that only opens when the world has gone still. And you are the audience, and the playwright, and the actor, all at once. The first REM period of the night is short, maybe 10 minutes. But with each cycle, REM grows longer, until the final hour of the night, when REM can stretch out, like a sunrise. So you see, sleep is not one place. It is motion, inward motion, fluid and necessary. You go down, into deep sleep. You rise, into REM, again and again, cycle after cycle. 4, 5, maybe 6 times a night. And each cycle does something slightly different. It's like rotating caretakers, each tending a different part of you. Some guard your memory, some protect your heart, some wash your brain of waste and fog. Because yes, while you sleep, your brain is being cleaned. Tiny channels between neurons open up. Cerebrospinal fluid flows through, like a tide washing away debris. It clears out beta amyloid, a sticky protein linked to Alzheimer's. So even when you dream, your brain is doing its night work. Its quiet service. You are being held, tended, cleaned, softened, But this delicate dance, this layered structure, can only unfold when you give it time, when you give it space. Too little sleep, and you miss stages. You may never reach the deep stillness. You may lose the dreams. The repairs are rushed. The orchestra plays off key, and your body remembers. You may feel fine at first, but things begin to fray. Emotions, focus, energy, like trying to build a house without finishing the blueprint, or trying to water a garden by only letting the rain fall for 2 minutes. Sleep needs time. It needs rhythm. It's not a light you turn off. It's a pattern you return to. So tonight, as you drift, you pass gently from one chamber to the next. Light sleep, deeper sleep, REM, and back again. You don't have to control it. Your body remembers how. You are made for this. Sleep is not lazy. It is intelligent. It is sacred. It is structured. And as your breath continues to slow, as your limbs grow heavy, you become part of this architecture again. The cathedral welcomes you. The music plays on. But before you disappear into your own dreamscape, you may wonder, what if this architecture, this structure of sleep, never even gets a chance to begin? What happens when you stay awake all night long? Chapter 3. The night the world stays awake. There are nights when sleep doesn't come. Whether by choice or by circumstance, you stay awake through the hours meant for rest. The world feels thinner, stranger, and your body starts to shift. As the sun rises, you begin to feel the cost of missing just one night of sleep. And your mind, once sharp, begins to blur at the edges. Some nights, you don't sleep, not because you don't want to, but because something pulls you across the night and keeps you upright, while the rest of the world goes still. Maybe it's work, maybe it's worry, maybe it's celebration. Whatever the reason, the hours pass without the comfort of rest. You stay awake. At first, it's manageable. You feel alert, perhaps even sharp, a little more alive, as if your body is riding on something just below exhaustion. That something is adrenaline, your body's emergency signal. It's the same spark that helps you run from danger or speak in front of a crowd, but it is not meant to last. And as the night deepens, your system begins to show the strain. Your circadian rhythm, the inner clock that knows when to sleep and wake, starts blinking red. Your melatonin levels rise, as they always do at night, encouraging your body to soften, slow, fold inward. But you resist. The light from your screen, the hum of artificial brightness, the movement of your eyes, these tell your brain, daytime is still here. And so it listens, confused, divided. It wants to help you stay awake, but it also wants to sleep. Your body, in its loyalty, tries to do both. That tension, that dissonance, is the beginning of unraveling. After about 16 hours awake, the signs are small, but real. You forget little things. A name, a word, why you walked into the room. Your attention flickers. Your patience thins. And somewhere deep inside, your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain that handles decision-making, planning, self-control, begins to tire. It doesn't shout. It just withdraws. Quietly, you may reach for sugar or scroll through your phone. You might say something you didn't mean to say. The brakes are softening. Impulse flows more freely. As the night turns toward morning, your emotional brain, especially the amygdala, your fear and feeling center, becomes louder. Without sleep, it's more reactive, more sensitive. A look feels like judgment. A delay feels like rejection. You are not broken. You are simply stretched. Sleep is the silence that lets your brain balance itself. Without it, the music of your thoughts goes off key. After 24 hours without sleep, your body enters survival mode. Your reaction time slows. Your coordination wobbles. It becomes harder to focus your eyes. And cognitively, your brain begins to behave as if it were legally drunk. Not metaphorically, literally. Studies show that after 24 hours awake, your performance on tasks mirrors that of someone with a blood alcohol level of 0.1%. Sleep is that essential, that foundational. But you don't just feel tired. You begin to feel disconnected. Your sense of time warps. Minutes stretch or disappear. Your thoughts feel foggy, as though wrapped in cotton. This state has a name. It's called microsleep. Tiny moments, lasting just a few seconds, where your brain shuts down briefly. Without your permission, your eyes may stay open. You may even keep walking, but your awareness vanishes, like a skipped frame in a film. It's why people fall asleep at the wheel, without realizing they were tired, because the body will find sleep, whether you offer it or not. And then there's the heart. Just one night without sleep increases your blood pressure. Your inflammation markers rise. Your immune system, that quiet shield, always at work, slows down. White blood cells become sluggish. Your defenses lower. Sleep isn't just rest. It's repair. Without it, the maintenance crew can't do their job. And your hormones? They too are thrown off course. Hunger hormones, like ghrelin and leptin, shift out of balance. You feel hungrier, less satisfied. Your body thinks it's under stress. It prepares for scarcity. That doesn't exist. And emotionally, you feel it. The edges sharpen. Laughter feels distant. Little problems grow big shadows. You become more likely to interpret faces as angry, more likely to feel alone. Sleep is not just physical. It is emotional scaffolding. And when it's missing, everything tilts. But still, this is only one night. And the beauty of the body is that it remembers balance. If, tomorrow night, you let yourself rest, truly rest, your body will rebound. It will spend more time in deep sleep and REM. Catching up, it will rebuild what was paused. But what if tomorrow never brings rest? What if another night comes, and still, you stay awake? What happens when missing one night becomes missing 2, or 3, or more? Chapter 4. Your brain on no sleep. You slip into the brain deprived of rest. How memory stumbles, emotions sharpen, and thoughts lose their shape. Even a single lost night changes the landscape of your inner world. Through soft analogies, you witness a tired brain trying to hold its pieces together. The night stretches on, and your body remains still, but your mind, it begins to fray at the edges. The warmth of sleep never comes, and you feel it. A strange fuzziness behind your eyes. A heaviness pressing softly at the corners of your thoughts. This is not just tiredness. It is the gentle beginning of unraveling. Inside your head, millions of neurons still fire, but their rhythm starts to stutter. Imagine an orchestra, once synchronized, now each player drifting slightly out of tune. A violin bow moving too slow, a drumbeat just behind the beat. The conductor is still there, but even he begins to forget the music. That conductor is your prefrontal cortex, the region responsible for decision-making, reasoning, and keeping your emotions in check. Without sleep, it dims like a lighthouse in fog. You may still be awake, but your ability to think clearly is already slipping away. Short-term memory begins to crumble first. You walk into a room and forget why. You reread the same sentence 3 times. The brain's sticky note, the working memory, has grown soggy in the absence of rest. And memory is delicate. Each night, while you sleep, your brain quietly sorts and files away the moments of your day, like a librarian walking through dusty corridors, placing books back where they belong. But tonight, the librarian is missing. The books pile up on the floor. Scenes from your day blur together. What was important starts to fade. What was trivial feels strangely loud. And now your emotions begin to swell. The brain has an almond-shaped cluster deep inside, called the amygdala, your emotional fire alarm. When you're well rested, the prefrontal cortex keeps the amygdala calm, like a parent gently holding a child's hand. But without sleep, the hand slips away. The amygdala roams unchecked. Small worries feel big. Mild annoyances seem sharp. You overreact, and you don't know why. A sad commercial brings tears. A kind word makes you suspicious. The world begins to feel tilted, not because it has changed, but because you have. Sleep doesn't just protect the brain, it balances it. Imagine a ship sailing across quiet water. Well rested, the ship glides smoothly. But remove sleep, and the waves begin to rise. Your thoughts sway. Your mood rocks from side to side. The compass spins. Even your senses begin to betray you. Colors seem too bright. Sounds arrive too quickly, echoing longer than they should. You feel a step behind your own perception, as if the world is happening faster than you can keep up. This is your thalamus, the brain's central relay station, trying to sort what you see and hear. But its timing is off. And timing is everything. Inside your brain is a delicate clock, not just the circadian clock that tells day from night, but microclocks and neural pathways, fine-tuned circuits that predict and react with astonishing speed. Sleep resets these clocks. Without it, signals misfire. You forget words mid-sentence. You miss cues in conversation. Your reactions lag. Your laughter comes a beat too late. Even reality becomes questionable. After enough time without sleep, your brain begins to dream while awake. You see things that aren't there. You mishear names. Shadows seem to move on their own. It is not madness. It is the dreaming brain intruding on wakefulness, a phenomenon known as microsleeps. 4 seconds at a time, your brain simply shuts off, blinking into darkness even while your eyes remain open. A few seconds here, a few seconds there. You might not even notice, but your brain does. With continued sleep loss, even self-awareness begins to slip. The part of your brain that monitors error, that says, "I'm not thinking clearly," grows quiet. You may be making mistakes, but your brain forgets how to notice them. It's a quiet kind of disorientation, not loud or dramatic, but subtle, like a fog drifting in. And soon, you can't quite remember what it felt like to be clear-headed. Your brain is brilliant, but it is not invincible. Sleep is its housekeeping, its healing, its home. Without it, the most complex structure in the known universe begins to come apart, gently, slowly, silently. And yet, this unraveling isn't permanent. The moment you return to sleep, the orchestra begins to tune again. The librarian returns to work. The tide of emotion pulls back. Healing begins almost instantly. But what if that healing never comes? What if, for reasons beyond your control, you are kept awake, not for a night, but for many? What happens to the mind when the body keeps pushing forward, but the rest never arrives? What happens when the nights begin to stack? When one tired day becomes another, and another? Let's go deeper, into the bloodstream, where sleep doesn't just shape how you think, but how your body lives. Chapter 5. Heartbeats and Hormones. Sleep touches more than the mind. It threads through your heart, your blood sugar, your immune system, your hormones. With less sleep, your body begins to forget how to balance itself. Tonight, you listen to the quiet ways that sleep deprivation echoes through your bloodstream. Your body is always listening, even when your mind drifts, even when your eyes close. Your body stays alert to the rhythm of night, to the soft signals of dark and light, to the secret music played in your blood. Sleep isn't just something that happens in the brain. It reaches further. It ripples gently through your chest, through your bones, through your breath. Tonight, you're not just falling asleep. You're stepping into a conversation, a quiet dialogue between your body and the night. Let's begin with your heart. Your heart is not a machine. It's more like a musician. Each beat is a note, each pause a breath. And when you sleep, your heart slows its tempo, like a lullaby at the end of a long day. During sleep, your blood vessels relax, your pressure falls, your pulse becomes a whisper. The whole cardiovascular system, your heart, your veins, your arteries, softens into rest. But when sleep doesn't come, or when it arrives too late, too broken, too short, your heart notices, your pulse rises, your blood vessels constrict, as if bracing for a storm. And inside you, a quiet tension builds. The body releases cortisol, the stress hormone. It's meant to help you rise with the sun. But without sleep, cortisol gets confused. It shows up early, uninvited, and stays too long. It's like someone turning on all the lights, just when you're about to drift into a dream. Your body keeps listening. And now, the immune system joins the conversation. When you sleep, your body repairs. It creates special proteins called cytokines, tiny messengers that help you fight infections, heal, recover. But when sleep is missing, those signals change. The repair slows. Inflammation rises, quietly, like steam behind a closed door. Over time, your immune system begins to wear down. You feel more tired during the day. You get sick more easily. Even small wounds, a scratch, a bruise, may take longer to fade. All of this, without a word, without a warning. And now, another system stirs. Your metabolism. Inside your blood, glucose, your body's sugar fuel, circulates with purpose. Sleep helps your cells use this fuel efficiently. It sharpens insulin sensitivity, keeps things smooth, balanced. But with sleep deprivation, the message gets scrambled. Your cells become resistant to insulin. Sugar stays in the blood longer. The pancreas works harder. And still, the balance falters. It's as if the body forgets how to nourish itself. Even after one night without sleep, your body may respond as if it's starving, craving, clinging, compensating. And here comes hunger, not just felt in your belly, but triggered by hormones, leptin and ghrelin, the twin signals of fullness and hunger. Normally, they keep you in harmony. Leptin says, you're full. Ghrelin says, You're hungry. But without sleep, leptin whispers, ghrelin shouts. You may find yourself reaching for sugar, for snacks, for comfort, not because you're weak, but because your body is trying to fix something it doesn't understand. The truth is, no food can replace the kind of fullness that comes from sleep. And still, your body listens. Now, the stage shifts again, this time to growth hormone. It flows through you. In the early part of deep sleep, it rebuilds muscle, strengthens bone, repairs tissue. It is the body's sculptor, its silent caretaker. But when sleep is stolen, this hormone fades into the background. The repair slows, recovery stutters, and your body begins to ache, not from injury, but from absence. Now, drift toward one last messenger. Melatonin. It's the softest voice in the room, the one that tells you, it's time. Time to let go, to unwind, to rest. Melatonin rises when the lights go down. It's your internal twilight, your biological candlelight. But in a world of glowing screens, late-night emails, and endless scrolling, melatonin loses its cue, and with it, the entire rhythm of night can unravel. All of these systems, your heart, your sugar, your healing, your hunger, your hormones, they do not live alone. They move in a dance, and sleep is the music that guides them. When that music fades, the dance becomes uncoordinated, disjointed, lost. You might ask, can one night of poor sleep really matter? The answer is yes, but gently, quietly, cumulatively, because sleep debt doesn't scream. It whispers, until the whisper becomes a weight, and the weight becomes the way you live. But here's the soft truth. The body is forgiving. Sleep, when it returns, can restore. It can soften blood pressure, lower stress, rebalance hormones, rebuild immunity, not all at once, but slowly, like rain returning to dry ground. You are not broken. You are simply out of rhythm, and rhythm can always be relearned. So tonight, as your breath settles, as your heart quiets, as your hormones begin to sway again to their natural beat, you are reminded, sleep is not a luxury. It is a remembering, a return to how your body wants to be. But now, if just a few lost nights can shift so much within you, what happens when someone stays awake for days? What happens when sleep simply never comes? Chapter 6. The Man Who Didn't Sleep. You walk through the real and eerie story of Randy Gardner, the teenager who stayed awake for 11 days. His journey unfolds slowly, not as a record-breaking stunt, but as a deeply human experiment in endurance and unraveling. What happens when a body stays awake too long? And why does the mind begin to drift like fog? The story begins in winter, 1964. You imagine the sky, soft and pale, hanging low over San Diego. The air still, the world quiet. And somewhere beneath that sleepy sky, a 17-year-old boy opens his eyes and chooses not to close them. His name is Randy Gardner. Not a scientist, not a daredevil, just curious. He makes a quiet decision to stay awake, not for one night, not two, but for as long as he can. You pause here. You wonder why. And the answer is simple. A science fair, a teenage experiment, an idea tossed around with a friend that grows into something much larger. No caffeine, no drugs, just willpower and a stopwatch. Day 1 is ordinary. Randy is a little sleepy, but still laughing. still talking, still playing basketball with friends. His eyes are open. His mind is clear. The body is patient. Day 2 arrives. Things start to shift. The light behind his eyes flickers. He blinks more often. He forgets small things. Simple words drift just out of reach. He says baseball when he means clock. Can't remember the word for umbrella. And yet, he smiles. Still cheerful. Still calm. But inside, something quiet is changing. The body whispers, like wind behind a door. On day 3, the door begins to open. He loses his sense of smell. His focus wanders. Thoughts come slow, like footsteps through mud. You can almost feel it, like walking through fog, trying to remember why you started moving in the first place. Sleep calls louder now, but Randy keeps walking. By day 4, he starts to imagine things. Road signs that don't exist. People who aren't there. His brain, starved of dreams, begins to dream. While he's awake, it is not madness. It is not fear. It is survival. Your mind, too, would do this, if it had to. By day 5, doctors begin to observe closely, not to stop him, but to watch what happens when the brain is pushed past its rhythm. He struggles to hold a conversation. He forgets what he's saying while saying it. Still, his heart beats. His lungs breathe. His blood flows. This is what startles the scientists. He is unraveling, but not collapsing. The body endures. Day 6. Day 7. More hallucinations. He sees a street lamp, but thinks it's a person. He speaks slowly, like someone translating thoughts into a language he's just learned. You sit with that feeling. Not fear, not panic, just slow, strange disconnection. By day 8, his body begins to shut down in moments. Tiny, involuntary naps, called microsleeps. A few seconds, eyes open, but the brain vanishes. He may be standing, he may be speaking, but part of him is gone. Your own body would do this too. When sleep is taken away, it will find its way back in, even if it must sneak in, like water through cracks. Day 9. Day 10. He begins to forget who he is, loses his sense of self in mirrors, stares at walls for comfort, stumbles when walking, mumbles when speaking. He doesn't fight sleep anymore. He floats beside it, barely staying above water. And then, day 11, 264 hours. No sleep, not 1 minute. He lies down, and the world, finally, blinks closed. 14 hours of dreamless quiet. And when he wakes, he remembers. He speaks clearly. He stands. He walks. He returns. Doctors are surprised. You are surprised. No permanent damage. No coma. No collapse. Only silence. And then balance. But something else remains. Something you feel. Underneath the science. Randy has said he would never do it again. Not because of danger, but because of how it made him feel. Like a ghost inside his own body. Because when you remove sleep, you remove part of who you are. Sleep is not just rest. It's reunion. A return to yourself. A remembering. And now, you sit in that space for a while. The body can stretch. It can adapt. It can survive. But what if it can't? What if sleep truly disappears? What if the mind tries to rest and forgets how? What if forgetting never ends? Chapter 7. Fatal Sleep Deprivation. Now, you drift closer to the edge. Rare disorders like fatal familial insomnia show what happens when sleep disappears forever. You learn how this genetic curse turns dreams into memories, and the body forgets how to survive. A haunting but gentle chapter about fragility. Sleep is not just something you do. It's something your body remembers. Like breathing, like blinking, like healing a wound in silence. Sleep is ancient. Sleep is soft. Sleep is stitched deep into your cells, carried quietly through time. But tonight, you imagine a body that forgets how to sleep. Not because it's too busy, not because it's afraid, but because something inside it breaks. Not loud, not sudden, but slow, like a door that closes and won't open again. This is the story of a rare and quiet illness. Fatal familial insomnia. It begins not with symptoms, but with silence. A silence so old, it hides in your DNA. There was a family in Italy. Generations lived normal lives. Laughed, loved, dreamed, but in their blood, a tiny mutation slept. It hid in one gene, a blueprint that builds a protein. And this protein shapes the brain. Over time, that shape becomes twisted. Just enough to make the brain forget. It begins in midlife. Subtle, strange. You feel tired, so deeply tired. But night never brings rest. You lie awake, eyes closed, mind racing, body waiting, but sleep doesn't come. Then, your body begins to misfire. Your temperature won't settle. Your heart forgets its rhythm. You sweat, even in the cold. You forget things. You see things. You drift in and out of reality, but never into sleep. This isn't just insomnia. This is something deeper. The gate into sleep has vanished, and the brain is stuck, always awake, always alert. Even as the body breaks down, it is caused by a prion, a misshapen protein, a tiny twist that spreads, like a shadow growing across the brain. And where it spreads, the thalamus begins to die. Your thalamus is like a gatekeeper. It listens to the world around you and the world within. It decides when you sleep and when you wake. But in this disease, the gate never closes. Even in darkness, even in exhaustion, you stay awake. Not because you want to, but because you have no choice. No dreams. No deep waves of rest, no REM, only wakefulness, and a mind slowly unraveling. People try. They take sedatives, try meditation, try silence, but nothing works, because the body cannot be forced to sleep. It must be allowed, and in this illness, the permission is gone. After months without sleep, the mind begins to dim. The body follows. And death comes quietly. There is no cure, no treatment, only understanding. And that is what science has begun to offer. This disease is rare, so rare, only a few dozen families in the world carry it. But its message is universal, because it shows us, in the clearest way, that sleep is not optional, not a luxury, not laziness, but life. Without sleep, your brain cannot clean itself. Your cells cannot repair. Your memories cannot sort. Your emotions cannot settle. Your heart cannot heal. Without sleep, everything begins to fall apart. But even in this darkness, there is beauty, because those who live with this illness often speak with clarity, with grace. They miss dreaming. They feel its absence. They say it's like standing outside a warm house, with no key, watching others rest, while they drift, always outside. And so, you begin to feel it now. Not fear, but wonder. You feel the quiet gift of your own sleep. The way your body still knows what to do. Even now, even tonight. You close your eyes and remember how sleep comes not because you chase it, but because you let it. It arrives like fog rolling over hills, like dusk fading into night, like waves pulling you toward shore. There are still questions, still studies, still families hoping for answers. But even without a cure, this illness has taught us something. It has shown us that sleep is not rest. Sleep is survival. It's how the body resets, how the mind heals, how life continues, quietly, in the dark. So now, you lie still, grateful, aware, safe, because tonight, your body remembers what there's forgot, and tomorrow, you'll learn what animals, who cannot speak, but always show, have taught us about sleep's quiet power, and what happens when even they cannot find it. Chapter 8. The Animal Experiments. You peek into early sleep studies, from rats on tiny islands to dogs who slipped into dreamless decline. What scientists discovered was clear. Without sleep, even the strongest bodies quietly failed. But you're guided through it slowly, with empathy and reflection. Because even in science, there is softness when we look at living things closely. It begins with water, still, quiet, dark beneath the surface, and in the center of it, a small platform, not wide, just enough space for a little rat to stand. If it tries to lie down, even for a moment, its body tips into the water. It jolts awake. It climbs back, and the cycle begins again. This was the design, a way to keep the rat awake, not through pain, but through interruption, through the soft denial of stillness. You're not here to judge. You're here to observe, to understand, to gently ask, what happens to a living creature when sleep is taken away? The lab is quiet, dimly lit. A low hum of machines fills the air, like the sound of distant wind, steady and calm. And at the center, the little rat keeps moving, keeps standing, keeps waking. This was called the disk over water experiment. Researchers at the University of Chicago used it to explore a question that humans could not safely ask of themselves. What does sleep really do when it's gone? The answers arrived slowly, quietly. One night, then two, then three. The rats began to eat more, much more. Their tiny bodies burned through food, like a candle flickering at both ends. But strangely, they lost weight. Their fur turned dull, their skin cooled, and then they died. Not from injury, not from starvation, but from something deeper, something invisible, something missing. Sleep. You pause here, not in fear, but in stillness, in the gravity of that truth. Sleep, when taken away completely, brings even the smallest, strongest body to its knees. But this wasn't the first time we saw it happen. In the 1890s, a Russian scientist named Marie de Manesine studied dogs. She kept them awake by gently disturbing them. A nudge, a noise, a shift in the room. No cruelty, just constant wakefulness. And after just 5 days, they too faded. The autopsies showed no clear cause, no failing organs, no disease. But inside their brains, there were signs of breakdown, soft tissues unraveling, as if the mind, without rest, had worn thin. You breathe slowly, deeply. You imagine the silence of those early labs, the wonder, the sadness, the awe, because what they found, beneath the measurements and microscopes, was not just science. It was a message Sleep isn't luxury. It isn't laziness. It's life. You might wonder, was it stress that harmed them? Was it fear? Or hunger? But scientists thought of that too. They built control groups. Same water, same room, same treatment, but with one difference: the ability to sleep. Those animals lived. So the answer emerged, not loudly, but like a ripple in still water. Sleep was the difference. Even flies, tiny creatures with eyes like glass beads, need sleep. When deprived, they forget how to fly. They wander. They forget. It seems, even the smallest mind knows how to rest and falls apart. Without it, you let that thought settle. No urgency, no alarm, just truth, folded gently into your awareness. What happens to us happens to them, and what happens to them shows us what we've forgotten. That sleep isn't something you earn. It's something you're made of, like breath, like heartbeat. And now, in this moment, your own body prepares. Quietly, gratefully. You may not feel it, but every cell is softening into night. The experiments, though strange and difficult, were never about cruelty. They were about listening to the way life whispers, "I need rest." And when that whisper is ignored, the body does not scream. It simply fades, like the tail end of a lullaby. You don't need to remember the graphs, or the details, or the names. You just need to remember this. When sleep is taken away, life begins to forget itself. And if rats, and dogs, and flies all unravel without dreams, what does that mean for us? For our long nights? Our skipped sleep? Our constant alertness? What does it mean when we silence the most natural rhythm we were born to follow? You breathe again, softly, evenly, because tomorrow you'll wander a little deeper into that question, not in theory, but in the quiet corners of human life. What happens to us when sleep truly disappears? Chapter 9: Why Sleep Saves You. After exploring the dangers of sleep loss, you return to the question, why does sleep matter so much? You discover how sleep clears waste from the brain, regulates mood, restores tissue, like a hidden housekeeping crew that works best when the lights go out. A chapter that reminds you, quietly, gently, that healing often happens in the dark. This is where sleep becomes more than a pause. It becomes a rhythm of survival. It begins the moment you close your eyes. Not all at once, but gradually, like a tide withdrawing from the shore. Your thoughts, once restless and scattered, begin to soften. They float like leaves in a slow-moving stream, carried by something ancient and kind. Sleep does not come to you with force. It waits at the edge of your awareness. A patient rhythm, a breath behind your breath. And once you surrender to it, a quiet revolution begins within you. Your body knows exactly what to do, without needing a single command from you. It begins the slow work of repair. Your cells start whispering to one another. Tissues knit themselves back together. Muscles, sore from the day's efforts, begin to release tension. Hormones realign, balancing what was thrown off in the chaos of waking life. Even your skin, yes, even that, starts to rebuild tiny tears you never noticed. But there is a deeper miracle happening too, one you cannot feel, but one that saves you every night. Inside your skull, your brain is washing itself. You may not have known this. Not really. But your brain has no lymphatic system like the rest of your body. It cannot drain waste in the usual way. And yet, your thoughts, your emotions, your memories, all generate metabolic clutter. By day, your mind is a kitchen in full swing, cooking, reacting, responding. But by night, something quiet happens. Your brain cells shrink slightly. Space opens between them, like doors parting for a cleaning crew. A clear fluid, called cerebrospinal fluid, begins to pulse gently through these new corridors, flushing out toxins and proteins that have built up during your waking hours. This includes beta amyloid, a protein linked to Alzheimer's, which gathers in brains that do not get enough deep sleep. It's as if, while you sleep, a gentle river runs through your mind, sweeping away debris, so the morning can arrive with clarity. And this is only one of the quiet rescues sleep performs. Sleep saves your memories. During the day, your experiences are scattered. Some are vivid, some are dull, some are so fleeting you barely register them. But as you sleep, your brain begins sorting through them. It sifts and files like a careful librarian. What you need to remember is held close, moved from short-term memory into longer storage. What is unnecessary fades. Even your emotional memories are shaped here. The sharp edges of certain feelings, anger, shame, grief, are dulled ever so slightly, not erased, but softened. So when you wake, you can carry them more gently. Your dreams may seem strange, but they are not random. They are your mind stitching together ideas, emotions, and impressions into patterns that help you understand your life. Even nightmares, though jarring, are thought to be part of your emotional regulation, your brain's way of saying, "This matters. Let's look at it," safely from a distance. Sleep also guards your immune system. As you rest, your body produces cytokines, tiny messengers that help your immune cells communicate. Without sleep, these messages falter. Inflammation rises, response slows. But with sleep, your defenses strengthen quietly, like sentinels restored after a long watch. Then there's the heart. While you sleep, your heart rate drops, your blood pressure lowers, your cardiovascular system, which works tirelessly during the day, finally gets a chance to ease. Sleep is not just a rest. It is a rehearsal of balance, a soft reset. Even your appetite and metabolism rely on it. Hormones like leptin and ghrelin, which control hunger, shift during the night. With poor sleep, cravings intensify, and your body becomes confused about what it truly needs. But when sleep flows properly, you wake with a steadier compass, both physically and emotionally. And yet, despite all this beauty, all this quiet necessity, sleep remains the one thing we try to cheat. We shorten it, postpone it, ignore its whispers, until exhaustion forces our return. You've seen what happens when sleep is lost. The unraveling, the fog, the fraying at the edges of thought. But now, you see what sleep truly offers. Not just avoidance of harm, but the presence of healing. You begin to realize, every time you sleep, your body rebuilds you. Your mind reorganizes you. Your spirit gently recalibrates. It is as if sleep is a kind of remembering, a way your body recalls its deepest design. And the more you understand this, the more sacred it becomes. Sleep is not lazy. It is not weakness. It is one of the most powerful acts of survival you can perform. But it is soft power. It works in the dark, in stillness, without applause. So tonight, when you finally drift into it, know that you are not escaping the day. You are returning to the workshop that has kept you alive your whole life. A workshop of dreams, of repair, of gentle rhythms you never had to earn, only surrendered to. And as you rest, your body remembers the ancient truth that healing is a quiet thing, and survival can look like stillness. But before you sink fully into that soft forgetting, a final question floats to the surface, not sharp, but curious. If sleep can save you, what does it mean? When sleep itself disappears, what happens? When even this sanctuary is taken away? Let's drift gently there, into the mystery, where sleep becomes not just fragile, but fatal. Chapter 10, the soft answer to a hard question. So, can you die from lack of sleep? Tonight, you explore the answer not just in biology, but in philosophy. What is life without rest? What is a mind without dreams? You're reminded, gently, that sleep is not a luxury. It is your quiet survival. Let the question unfold like a mist and dissolve softly into the night. It begins with a question, simple, blunt, but echoing, like a stone dropped into a still pond. Can you die from lack of sleep? You lie back and feel the weight of it settle in your chest, not in fear, but in wonder. Your eyes soften toward the ceiling, as if waiting for the stars to blink an answer. The body, after all, can go days without food. It can live for weeks, even in thirst, with careful trickles of water. But sleep is different. Sleep is not fuel. It is not a topping. It is not rest after life. It is the rhythm within it. Tonight, you follow that rhythm inward. You begin in the quiet chamber of the brain. Imagine it like a house with many rooms and many lights. Each night, sleep goes room to room, turning off switches, repairing broken wires, tucking memories into drawers, dusting the shelves of emotion, unclogging the pipes of thought. And if sleep doesn't come, the lights stay on too long. The rooms grow hot, crowded, loud. The house hums with static, and slowly, gently, the structure begins to tilt. You've heard the stories by now. The teenager who stayed awake for 11 days. The rare disorder, fatal familial insomnia, where sleep vanishes altogether. You've seen what happens in the body. The rising blood pressure, the immune system faltering, the heart forgetting how to beat in rhythm. But death by sleep deprivation, it's not a lightning strike. It's not sudden or simple. It's more like erosion, like a shoreline slowly swallowed by the sea. You don't die from lack of sleep the way you die from a wound. You unravel, one thread at a time. Your mind becomes brittle. Thoughts slide off each other, unfinished. You lose track of language, of direction, of the line between waking and dreaming. Even a few nights without sleep can begin this unraveling. A week, and your immune defenses fall. Your body starts to inflame itself. Cortisol, the stress hormone, pulses through your veins like static. And deep inside, your brain, the beautiful, dreaming organ, starts to drown in its own waste. Because sleep, it turns out, is the only time your brain cleans itself. Gently, each night, a river flows through it. A special system called the glymphatic system, washing away the metabolic dust of thought, clearing plaques, proteins, debris, like a tide coming in, then sweeping out. This only happens when you sleep. It is your brain's nightly rinse, its quiet cleansing ritual. Without it, those particles stay. They build. And though death may not come quickly, disease begins to whisper. Alzheimer's, depression, stroke, even cancer. You see, the body doesn't scream when it lacks sleep. It whispers, then it sighs, then it forgets, then it stops. And still, even now, even after all this, science does not name sleep deprivation as a direct cause of death. Because what fails first is everything. It is death by disarray, death by disconnection. But maybe that's not the right way to think about it. Because here, as your breath deepens and your thoughts begin to sway, a softer answer arrives. What is life without rest? You felt it on those nights when you could not sleep, when your mind paced like a caged animal, when your skin felt too tight for your bones, when joy seemed far away, when nothing tasted right, when even sunlight hurt. That was not living. That was survival. Barely. Sleep is not where life pauses. It's where life hides and heals. Your heart, as you sleep, rewrites its rhythm. Your muscles whisper instructions to repair torn fibers. Your skin drinks in growth hormones. Your dreams reshape your memories. Filing some, folding others. Sewing together meaning from your day. Even your sense of self. That quiet voice that says I am here, I am me, is partly restored in the dark hours of rest. So can you die from lack of sleep? Science, cautious and clinical, says, not directly, but you know better now, because you've walked through the house. You've felt the dust pile up. You've seen the lights flicker, the walls tilt. It may not be death by bullet, but it is death by forgetting. Forgetting how to function, how to feel, how to heal, how to be. And yet, the body always asks gently. It never forces you. Even in exhaustion, it offers one more chance. Come lie down. Close your eyes. Let it begin again. You are not weak for needing sleep. You are woven for it. Your body is built to slip into it. Like a boat into harbor. Like a soul into silence. Like the earth turning away from the sun. There is no medal for staying awake. No trophy for burnout. No honor in erasing your own stillness. Sleep is not indulgence. It is not optional. It is not negotiable. It is breath turned inward. It is waking's twin. It is your survival dressed in moonlight. So tonight, you listen to the softest answer. Not from textbooks. Not from case studies. But from the rhythm in your chest. From the silence behind your thoughts. From the ache of your bones. As they ask for stillness. Let yourself drift now. Because somewhere deep inside you, not just in the body, but in the being, you already know. Sleep is how you stay. Sleep is how you return. Sleep is how you remember what it means to be alive. And as you drift, a new question stirs. So quiet, so gentle, that it feels like a breath, not a thought. What happens inside the dreaming mind that the waking world could never teach? And so now you rest, with your breath slow and steady, with your mind cradled gently by quiet understanding. You let the question dissolve, not needing an answer anymore, because your body remembers what your mind sometimes forgets. That sleep isn't escape. It's return. It's repair. It's remembering how to be whole. Let the night take over now. Let the rhythm of your own existence fold you into stillness. You've wandered through the science, stepped into the stories, touched the threshold between wakefulness and unraveling. And now, you do the most vital thing of all. You surrender to softness, to silence, to sleep. Good night, and let your dreams be kind. Let your body heal in the dark. Let your mind wash itself clean. So tomorrow, you begin again. Whole, rested, alive,